Now, once you understood that behavior is important, now you have to differentiate between what is normal, what is abnormal. Okay. When you say normal, again, there are two terminologies. Just for academic sake, otherwise on routine basis, we don't differentiate much. Normal versus natural behavior. Natural behavior means the behavior expressed by the animals in the wild condition. In the wild condition, which is considered to be natural behavior. But वही animal, domestication करने के बाद in a given captivity situation, whatever it animal behaves, average behavior of animal in a population, which you call as a normal. मतलब कुछ behavior हो सकता है छूट गया, कुछ behavior modify हो गया, but रहते रहते वही behavior सब animal में दिखने लग जाएंगे. So that is a normal behavior. इसी तरह से when you say normal, you already seen and you have observed and you have pursued that these are the normal. But sometimes it may not be normal. इसलिए अगर आप normal जानेंगे तो rest automatically presumed to be normal. Okay. So that's why with the behavioral course, we first highlight the abnormal behavior, then we go to the normal. So now, as of now, in this presentation, here onwards, we are talking about only abnormal behavior, here onwards. Okay. What is abnormal behavior? Is typically regarded as a behavior that deviates in some way from its natural form and is a problematic in some way. अगर उसका behavior change करना मतलब कुछ ना कुछ problem है ही, तभी तो deviate कर रहा है. It results means it's a mismatch between the stimulus present in the captive environment and the animal's ability to cope up with the stimuli through the mechanism that it has acquired through the evolution or lifetime development. मान लीजिए आपका गिवन सिचुएशन कैप्टिविटी में जो भी एनवायरमेंट होगा उसके हिसाब से अगर कोप अप करके नॉर्मल जैसे बिहेव करेंगे तो इट इज एक्सेप्टेड. कुछ एनिमल उसको एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर पाते, दे आर नॉट एबल टू कोप अप इन द गिवन एनवायरमेंट एंड दैट लीड टू सम टाइप ऑफ अदर बिहेवियर व्हिच इज डिविएटिंग फ्रॉम द नॉर्मल. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई वी यूज द वर्ड मिसमैच. कहीं ना कहीं जो चीज उसको चाहिए नहीं मिल रहा है, जिसकी वजह से उनका बिहेवियर चेंज हो रहा है, उसको एक्सप्रेस करने के लिए कोशिश कर रहा है. Now let us come to the actual topic, abnormal behavior, which you also use the voices, stereotypic, sometimes apathetic behavior. Okay. So now हमारे लिए concern सिर्फ इस whole course में more of animal welfare concerned है और more of injury concerned है, मतलब जिसकी वजह से नुकसान हो रहा है. Okay. So they are nothing but voices. Voices are destructive behavioral pattern resulting in injury or damage to the performer or parent, and this pattern of behavior may be originally derived from motivational system concerning the aggressive feeding, grooming, exploitative behavior. Reason कुछ भी हो सकता है, but something which is becoming problem to the animal owner, okay, and its performance, which you characterize as voices. Stereotypic already बता दिए, repetition of the identical movement without any apparent functions. Okay, same thing I am just giving you. You can read out that. It need not be. So same thing. मतलब stereotypic behavior very short होता है. Voices क्या होता है, एक बार उससे develop हो गया, उससे बाहर निकल के आना इतना आसान नहीं है. Okay, but stereotypic क्या है, transit है, short period है. अगर आप चाहते तो थोड़ा सा environment change करने से, animal को shift करने से, उसको engage करने से, so immediately they shift from stereotypic behavior to normal behavior. Okay, so that's what you want there. Apathetic behavior, again, it is just like learnless helplessness. Okay, behavior such as motionless standing, sitting, often recognized as abnormal behavior and termed as मतलब कुछ भी नहीं करना. ठीक है, that is apathetic behavior. Sometimes we use it. Okay, now let us discuss one by one species wise. Among the voices, we discuss much about voices only in the horse. Other animal में ज़्यादा serious नहीं. It does not mean that you should ignore it, because it is reflecting something poor welfare you need to address, but the way we take serious in case of horse, that much seriousness is not given in case of other animals. The reason simple है, because उसमें most of the voices में performance इतना affect नहीं करेगा, but horse में क्या, since it's a performing animal, immediately affect करता है, इसलिए the people take it very seriously. Okay? First one is wind sucking. The word is self-explanatory. Horse may suck air in combined with or alone, sometimes with head nodding or crib biting. Simply हवा खींचना है, simply हवा खींचना है. Sometimes it may catch hold the समथिंग हार्ड ऑब्जेक्ट देन सक करना, और जस्ट अपने आप को हेड को हिलाते हिलाते सक, either three possibility, okay, either with head nodding or with crib biting or without that also, okay, simply it sucks. The characteristic of wind sucking is a sound made as the air is expelled, and often this habit is acquired in the foals from their mothers. शुरुआत में क्या होता है, wind sucking जब habit होता है, it is generally seen when animals are kept idle, okay, sometimes immediately after performance आप immediately उसको idle कर दिया, because suddenly when they run it needs lot of oxygen, when they come and stand idle the same thing continues in order to adjust that this one. So that wind sucking behavior develops and gradually it becomes an habit and later it leads to vice, okay. Crib biting, the animal opens and closes the mouth around the stable door, engaging the tongue and teeth with the surface and performing the chewing movement. कुछ भी नहीं, एक पकड़ के रखना है और एंगेज रखना है, बार बार काटने के लिए कोशिश करना, एंगेज रखना, ओके. सो रिपीटेडली डस with any of the art subject, need not be a wooden partition or need not be a wooden barricade for the stables or the stalls, okay. Sometimes even it can be a window bar also, anything is possible, okay. So often the incisors wear out, making the grazing very difficult, इतना तक जाता severely, because बार बार continuously करने से there is a wear and tear, due to which the later the consumption of grazing green fodder also reduces, okay. So like that. The problem can be partially controlled by improving the environmental condition by providing animal with a oral occupation, often done by providing a straw or sawdust as a litter material which the animal can chew and cannot root upon. कुछ ना कुछ और आसान मटेरियल मिलेगा तो उसमें एनिमल डाइवर्ट हो जाएगा, ताकि हार्ड ऑब्जेक्ट को पकड़ने के लिए ट्रेन नहीं करें. स्टॉल वॉकिंग, इससे सिंपल, स्टॉल के अंदर सिंपली घूमते रहना. फ्रस्ट्रेशन इज एविडेंटली a reason for this behavior, and or sometimes minimal exercise, reduced access to sex partner, social behavior and chronic confinement result to this one. बोर होने के कारण इधर से उधर, उधर से उधर. लाइन में तो आपने बहुत बार देखा होगा, जूम में जाएंगे तो without any purpose it will keep on moving from this end to that end. The same thing here in the case of horse, okay, within the stall. Since animals are not tied unlike other species, so within the stalls they roam here from one end to another end, okay. Rocking, swaying and weaving, they are minor difference, or you can say they can be taken as single type of voice, okay. Here rocking means अपने movement करना, ठीक है ना. Swaying more or less same thing. The body of animal is moved backwards and forward, or sometimes side to sideward, or with or without head swinging, okay. So अगर मान लीजिए आगे पीछे करना है, that is rocking. साइड से लेफ्ट टू राइट, राइट टू लेफ्ट करना है, that is a swaying. Similarly, in case of weaving also it's same thing. It is the again इधर से लेफ्ट टू राइट करना है, but along with the head and neck. Got it? Suppose आगे पीछे करना है तो रॉकिंग कहते हैं. साइड साइड बॉडी को एक पैर में लेफ्ट एंड राइट में बॉडी वेट को बियर कर दे, जैसे एक बार लेफ्ट में किया एक बार राइट में किया, ताकि बट उसके साथ हेड पोर्शन भी हिलता रहेगा. अगर हेड पोर्शन भी हिलता रहेगा, वीविंग सिंपली विदाउट होगा तो स्वेइंग, आगे पीछे करेंगे तो रॉकिंग. But it's all together, it may be seen independently or combined. That's why I put all of them in a single line, okay. It means that swinging forward, moving forward backward, or swinging left to right with head or without head, okay. Stall kicking, this I was giving an example. Kicking is a normal behavior. As whenever there is a threatening situation, it kicks. It's a defense mechanism. But if it repeatedly does, okay, it can be due to any reason. फुट इंजरी हो सकता है, और मैंने बताया था कि फ्लोर का प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, रोडेंट का प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, पूर एक्सरसाइज हो सकता है, राइट. इवन समटाइम्स ड्यू टू वाइसेस सीन बाय द अदर एनिमल्स, उसकी वजह से ये हो सकता है. दूसरा एनिमल डिस्टर्ब करने से हो सकता है शुरुआत में, बाद में दैट बिकम्स एन हैबिट, ओके. स्टॉल किकिंग. Tail rubbing in horse is more often, but it's generally due to parasitic or fungal infection. Pawing, it is a repeated rubbing of the hoof on the floor with low pitched voice. पैर को करना है, ठीक है, रिपीटेडली मेकिंग ए स्ट्राइकिंग मूवमेंट ऑन द फ्लोर, ओके। इट इज जनरली डन बाय वन ऑफ द फोर लिम्स और समटाइम्स ऑल्टरनेटिव, एक बार लेफ्ट में किया, एक बार राइट में किया, एक बार लेफ्ट में किया, एक बार राइट में किया, ठीक है। दैट्स कॉल्ड पाइंग। पाइंग व्हाट दैट वर्ड इटसेल्फ इज ए सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी बट विथ माइल्ड वॉइस। बोल्टिंग ऑफ फीट, इट्स ए प्रैक्टिस ऑफ ईटिंग फूड वेरी फास्ट विदाउट चीविंग, क्योंकि फास्ट खाना हॉर्स में नॉट what you can say good thing, okay, immediately lead to colic. But when there is a competitive conditions, then they'll try to eat fast, thinking that I may get, I may not get, and it end up in the stomach problem. Eating mud or licking wall, it is as same as in case of other species, it could be due to deficiency or sometimes it's due to poor quality fodder, sometimes lack of exercise, okay. So anything is possible, but horse do show these type of like dung eating हो सकता है, ठीक है ना। So forcibly, although it will, this type of posture it is taking means really that has become strong instinct now. शुरुआत में थोड़ा थोड़ा सा ट्राई करेगा, बाद में नहीं मिलता then it will try to this thing also, okay. Biting generally start with a playful behavior. Sometimes it is a self-mutilating behavior. Sometimes it may be other and as also self, means since the incisors are present both in the upper jaw and lower jaw, so it may use as a defensive in the beginning, or sometimes it may show that behavior as a playful behavior, but later it becomes so instinct that खुद को भी इंजरी होगा, दूसरा एनिमल को भी इंजरी करेंगे। And most of these पार्टिशनिंग हो सकता है, ठीक है, जैसे लूज हो गया बट उसको दोबारा फिट नहीं किया तो हिलने के कारण एनिमल इरिटेशन होता है, ठीक है ना। इम्प्रॉपर फीडिंग, फॉल्टी सैडल मटेरियल, ओके, इसको प्रॉपरली एंड करेंगे तो उससे भी काफी हद तक प्रिवेंशन कर सकते हैं। प्रॉपर स्टेबल मैनेजमेंट से भी काफी हद तक कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। जब भी आपको कोई भी वाइसेस, इफ यू आर एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई, then immediately isolate that animals and keep it aside so that other will not catch it, and you try to address that vices in this particular animal, then again later you get back to the original stall, then also it is fine, okay. Good surrounding, which is very very important, okay. Proper exercise. Next, other species, only few, so I will take another 10 minutes. Poultry, since it is a meat animal, meat bird, यहाँ इतना ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट नहीं रहेगा, बट लेयर में रहेगा। ब्रॉयलर्स में इतना ज्यादा सीरियस नहीं है, बट इन केस ऑफ लेयर्स, इफ देयर इज एनी वाइसेस व्हिच आर economic importance and welfare issue, then naturally it has to be addressed. Pacing in poultry, the stereotype pacing resembles escape movement and often found in hungry birds expecting food or in the ends before moving position with no available nest material, ठीक है ना। mainly layer में so means it keeps on running from one end to another end in search of food. Cannibalism, you all know it, it generally occurs in the large poultry flocks in close confinement where birds peck at associated birds and can lead to significant mortality. Cannibalism already pata hai aapko, peck cutter bhi pata hai, so that's why I'm not going in detail, okay. The occurrence of such stereotypes due to the managemental issues like overstocking mainly, अनसाइंटिफिक लाइटिंग, ज्यादा लाइट देने से भी हो जाता है, डिफिशियंसी इन द न्यूट्रिशन, ओके। पहले वो क्या करते हैं, जहां जहां सॉफ्ट टिश्यू होता है वहां पहले प्रिक करने के लिए कोशिश करते हैं, बाद में दैट बिकम्स एन हैबिट, देन इट ट्राई टू अटैक एवरीथिंग, सो दैट्स फेदर पिकिंग, पेंट पिकिंग होगा, बाद में वो कैन इट लीड टू कैनिबलिज्म लेटर स्टेज में। Egg eating, again it's a serious issue. Birds also resort to another abnormal behavior of egg eating where it breaks and eats its own or pen-mate's egg. In case of cattle, particularly in the bulls, bar biting, the way you are telling about crib biting, bar biting has also been shown by the cattle that are kept in the close confinement. Tongue rolling, particularly in the calves, the tongue rolling is typically extruded and rolled back into the open mouth, often with partial swallowing of the tongue and gulping of the air takes place. This is very clearly visible in those calves which are weaned on the 0 day and they are dependent on the external milk. So usme this type of behavior is pretty expected, okay. The tongue rolling has been observed in the early weaned piglets as well as in wheel calves. The cattle provided less roughage often resort to this behavior probably to mimic the activity of prehension and mastication. ठीक है, जैसे दूध ही देते रहेंगे immediately अपने grazing में hard food में आप if you don't bring quickly, then it will develop that instinct. Eye rolling, not so serious, but still it is do observed in case of calves. Wheel calves means basically, since we are taking literature from the outside, they write it as a meat calves, wheel calves. Okay. The animal moves its eyes around the orbit at a time when no visible object is present and moving in such a way as to lead to such a movement. But without any purpose, simply around the orbit, it moves. Okay. Throwing feed out of measure. This is a serious issue. Okay. कुछ animal का आदत बन जाता है. Excess feeding, poor quality feed, social dominance among the groups will lead to this way. अगर मान लीजिए अच्छा quality fodder आपने suddenly नहीं दिया, there was a continuity of good fodder and immediately there is a change in the fodder which is not good quality. And that if it repeats for 1 week or 10 days, in search of good fodder, it keeps on throwing this side, that side, so that I can look for the good feed. In that motive, animal will try to throw feed out of the manger. Okay. Even if you put excess feed in the manger, fully if you put feed in the manger, okay, it has got a habit to eat the best one. So that we call it as a preferential eating. Okay. So even if you provide best, but if you put too much, then again it do the same thing. Sometimes in the establishment of social dominance, means the animal which dominates, it will try to eat the best one. In order to eat best one by the dominant animal, it will try to throw all the food. So due to which it becomes an habit and it leads to wastage of feed. Kicking, as I told you, it is almost found in every animal, but without any purpose, with small sound, if it kicks, okay, whenever you approach the animal, if it kicks, okay, whenever you make some sound, okay, if it kicks means it is something wrong, okay. But that kicking habit in case of cattle, it need not be any reason oriented. It is a temperamental oriented. उसका temperament के ऊपर भी वो kicking behavior आ सकता है. But horse में temperament की वजह से आता है, but rare आता है. But in case of cattle and buffaloes, it's mainly due to temperament, not because of any other reason. जैसे वो नाक clean करने से, फ्लोर अनइवन होने से, ठीक है, उस तरह से कारण की वजह से वो किकिंग हैबिट नहीं होगा, बट पेशेंस नहीं रहेगा. छोटे मोटे चीज के लिए इरिटेट होने के कारण एज ए डिफेंसिव मैकेनिज्म इट ट्राई टू किक, ओके, सो दैट बिकम्स ए लेटर एन हैबिट. licking and crib wetting, it's again a stereotypic licking of the tongue, and that wetness is repeatedly applied on the animal. बार बार उसको lick करना बॉडी पोर्शन को गीला करना, that's called licking or crib wetting. This action may result in the injury of tongue and wearing of the licked area or ingestion of substantial quantity of air. खुद का ही irritation वहां रहे ना रहे, अदर irritation की वजह से जनरल lick करते ही करते animal, but when it does repeatedly, then it may end up in other problems. Alternative is provide salt licks in the hanging position so that it will get engaged. Okay. Rubbing, it's again a self grooming. हम लोग grooming में they try to rub each other, and but if it does again too much, like in the confinement condition for extended time, and if it does repeatedly, then again it is considered as a vice. Otherwise, it is not so. But this behavior is more noticeable in the on breeds and more in the bull stocks. Okay. Intermouth suckling, half में दूध पिलाने के बाद जैसे आपने weaning किया, you offered the milk, immediately इसका कोटा खत्म हो गया, you have put back into the original pen, or if you put in the groups, then there is a more possibility of getting this suckling or intermouth suckling vices. अगर आप immediately after offering milk, if you try to dry the mouth area and if you keep it separately, then this type of behavior may not develop. But if you don't wipe it properly and if you give lesser than the expected quota and still it feels that hungry, and still some of the animals have got a strong instinct for the suckling, so they'll try to develop this type of habit, particularly in the artificial milk feeding. In case of pig, it's more serious because they are immediately they catch that behavior. Cattle में इतना ज़्यादा दिक्कत नहीं होता. So in case of pig, bar biting, tether biting, the same as other species. Crib biting वहाँ किया था, वहाँ cattle में भी discuss किया था. Same thing here also. This is mainly due to overstocking. This is mainly due to overstocking. Circling and tail chasing is a unique behavior. This is very unique and it's very much appreciable in the pigs. Okay, it keeps on rotating within the pen. Okay, again and again, in the same round, it keeps on running in order to catch the tail, or sometimes just like that. Okay? So that is circling or tail chasing. Tail and ear biting. So these are very severe. Sometimes lead to infection in many of the animals. आप कहीं भी पिगरी फार्म में जाइए, ओवर स्टॉकिंग होगा तो आपका हमेशा यू विल सी द ऑफ टेल. दैट इज अ क्लियर इंडिकेशन ऑफ द स्टॉक ओवर स्टॉकिंग एंड नॉन एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ द सोशल ऑर्डर. अदरवाइज एक बार सोशल ऑर्डर एस्टेब्लिश हो जाएगा, देन यू मे नॉट सी दैट वन. सो ऑटोमेटिकली इफ दे एक्सेप्ट दैट आई एम सबमिसिव एंड समबडी एस्टेब्लिशेस दैट आई एम द लीडर, then that fight will not be there, even in the overcrowding condition or in the overstocking condition. Means keeping more animals in the limited area, and if it helps in the establishment of social order, still it's fine. But it does not establish, maybe due to different variable age group, then this tail baiting is very much expected. Okay, beginning tail baiting, later ear biting. Stone chewing and abnormal castropathy, this is not so frequent. Whenever there is a open paddock में mud अगर होगा, wherever they get opportunity access to the stones, then only we will see this one. Sham chewing is very important. Often sows kept in individual stall with no litter resort to this type of chewing. Okay, animals keep on chewing vigorously even at time when all food has been consumed. Just it try to mimic as if it is chewing some food, but there is no food in the mouth. Okay, there is a froth formation in the mouth. Very typically, you can see this sham chewing behavior in case of pig. Okay, so this can be discouraged by providing some fodder or some straw. Generally, India में तो fodder देने का, straw देने का आदत नहीं, but in foreign countries they do give. Otherwise, people go for offering 2 times, 3 times instead of offering concentrated single time. So when you try to give the same quota in 2 or 3 times, naturally animal will get engaged, or their satiety center will be satisfied. So the possibility of getting this sham chewing behavior will be less. Cannibalism, this is very well established in case of pig. Okay, that's mainly due to poor nesting behavior. Okay, due to irritation of the sow. Okay, by the movement of the piglets. If there is a change of temperature in and around the animals, particularly winter में अगर आपने extra source of heat नहीं provide किया, proper bedding material नहीं दिया, तो animal क्या होता है? So there is a posture changing habit. So में अगर आप देखा होगा तो when animals start making grunting sound, immediately there will be letdown of milk. So dam or mother sow lies down, and from one side they start suckling. At one time again it changes its position. So at that time these young ones will simply run away around the pen. Okay, but कुछ piglets से क्या होते हैं? So in order to get the teeth, it will try to approach the sow from every angle. तो जब मुंह के पास बार बार वो suckling का instinct आ जाता है, तो dam will get irritated. So what it does, it will catch her and throw the piglet. Okay. So sometimes that doing 1 or 2 times, later it becomes an habit. Okay, so then it leads to cannibalism. And in sometimes it is also said that unko just to eat, it will not eat. Only to fulfill its instinct of irritation, it will try to eat the piglet. Otherwise, there is no purpose of eating the young one of its own. Okay. Persisting inguinal nose thrusting, just self-explanatory. What it does with the snout, it will try to give a thrust to the inguinal region of the other animals. Okay, see, very typical abnormal behavior directed towards the other animals, in which pig repeatedly thrust its nose into the inguinal area of the resting pig with the top of its snout. Just bar bar mark. ठीक है, thrusting or butting also you call it in case of sheep and goat. Okay, so these are the vices in case of pigs. Okay, in case of sheep there are not many. One is wool pulling or wool eating. Another is stealing young and lambs stealing. Again, they are not so frequent. That's why I'm not highlighting much. Just to conclude today's topic, if you provide proper diet, if you give less restricted movement, no overcrowding, proper social order, sufficient enclosure, proper indoor management system, exercise, proper weaning, proper flooring, so most of the behavior can be solved. Okay. So with this, I'll conclude today's topic.